Hi, I'm Ain. I'm a blind architecture student. A few years ago, I lost my sight due to illness. Adapting to life without vision was challenging, but it opened my mind to new ways of experiencing the world. As I navigated this change, I began to ask, why does architecture rely so heavily on sight? What if we design spaces to engage all our senses, spaces we feel, hear, touch, and move through? By shifting to a multi-sensory approach, we can create inclusive, enriching spaces where everyone feels connected, regardless of how they perceive the world. In this research project, my hypothesis is by testing how vision impairment affects spatial perception and navigation. We can learn from blind and vision impaired individuals how other bodily sensors are amplified to compensate for sight. From this understanding, we can highlight strategies for designing spaces that enhance multisensory navigation and accessibility. I will be looking into a key question for this research project. How do blind groups perceive and navigate in space? In the UK, there are 2,500,000 individuals suffers from some degree of visual impairment. 250 people is stated to lose their sight every day, with 1 in 5 people living with sight loss in their lifetime. By 2050, it is predicted that the number of people will double to over 4 million. Sight loss varies in severity, mild, medium, and severe, affecting different population groups. Blindness risk increases with age, and the UK's aging population continues to grow. This trend highlights the increasing need to address accessibility and inclusivity for an aging visually impaired population. In the UK, discrimination and accessibility issues still affect blind and vision impaired individuals. 60% of the population acknowledges significant discrimination. Over 40% of blind and vision impaired people feel isolated, unable to fully connect with others and their surroundings. Employment is also limited, with only 1 in 4 working age blind or vision impaired individuals are employed. Safety in public spaces is a major concern. 55% report that local roads feel unsafe, and public transportation lacks proper accommodations. Sight loss limits full participation in society. As the UK's aging population grows, more people will experience sight loss, highlighting the need for urgent action to create accessible environments. The types of visual impairments are reduced visual acuity, accommodative issues, field impairment limit vision, color vision impairment, light adaptability issues, and total blindness. Blind individuals rely on touch to explore spaces, using texture, pressure, temperature, and vibrations to navigate and orientate. Smell and taste provide olfactory and gustatory cues, offering direction, evoking emotions, and creating memory markers. Hearing reveals spatial dimensions and a sense of place through echoes, sounds, and directionality. The body senses, including proprioception, the vestibular system, and balance, help with orientation, position, and movement. Lastly, interoception provides internal awareness, sensing physical and emotional states that shape one's experience of space. Together, these senses form a unique perception of space that goes beyond vision alone. There are many tools to help blind and visually impaired individuals navigate spaces. In addition to tactile paths and blind canes, resources like audio-described guides, guide dogs, braille materials, and magnifying glasses provide valuable support. Large print, audio-described tours, tactile maps, and tactile objects are especially useful in visually rich environments like museums and galleries. However, these aids are often add-ons rather than integrated into the building's design. To better meet the needs of visually impaired individuals, I conducted an experiment in indoor and outdoor settings. Participants without vision impairments used tools to stimulate 3 types of vision loss: total blindness, central vision loss, and tunnel vision. In open spaces, it's hard to locate points, but ground texture helps. This causes low security and slows movement. Shadows are distracting, and she constantly extends her arm to sense more. No distinct sound markers are present on this site. Movement is mostly smooth, but she turns her head often to compensate for limited vision. Open spaces reduce concern about obstacles, but spotting objects directly ahead is challenging, especially as she approaches them, making it harder to judge distances in real time. Navigation is smooth as the central field is clear, and she rarely needs to turn her head to compensate. However, obstacles at the edge of her vision are hard to detect, reducing safety during movement. In crowded outdoor spaces, the noises makes navigation harder, but helps with perceiving the environment. The indoor space is narrow with many obstacles, and no echoes to guide her. She moves cautiously, but collisions still happen. She can't predict proximity, but touching obstacles helps. Her sense of space is limited between obstacles. Movement is smooth, but obstacles are hard to detect and nearness is difficult to judge. She can spot distant objects, but close-up details are challenging. Moving helps to expand her field of view for complete spatial information. With her central vision intact, navigation is mostly smooth. However, obstacles at the edges of her vision are easily missed, requiring her to touch nearby objects to avoid collisions. When windows are open indoors, external sounds, airflow, and temperature affects the perception of space, but can serve as useful landmarks for navigation. Juhani Pallasmaa talks about engaging with art and architecture is a mutual exchange where we project our emotions into the space and the space in return offers its atmosphere. True architectural experience is not just visual, it is fully sensory, integrating physical and mental dimensions that enhance our existential experience. Noting the importance of multisensory integration in architectural experience, I have looked into a few precedents of architectural spaces that triggers and engages various senses of the body. The Blur Building, a structure covered with fog by thousands of water nozzles, provides visitors a thermal setting and visually challenging experience. The sea organ in Croatia creates an auditory experience in an open space, where sea waves turn into music notes. A Gagliglio pavilion shapes an environment of tactile and olfactory experience, round concrete tiles to be felt by hands and feet, and breathing the smell of nature in within. Another olfactory experience is the scent tunnel filled with 2,160 potted flowers of various species, creating a tunnel of different flowery scents to experience. These spaces, which integrate multisensory experience, can evoke various emotions, memories, and new experiences for different groups of people to engage in these spaces. These precedents will guide next semester's work, designing spaces that connect senses, reduce visual reliance, and enhance non-visual perception. For next semester, we will focus on designing a multisensory space that is inclusive and accessible for blind individuals while enabling the broader public to experience multisensory interactions.